Hey, how you doing, folks? Um, I am a little bit rested because I was pretty worn out there from working all day with my weed eater. I actually didn't work all day, but I mean I worked like a long time, so I was pretty worn out. Doing that, there's nothing easy about it. Anyways, um, let's run down the news, shall we? It's coming up on 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and I just I just kind of realized about an hour ago that it's over. It really is. It's over. I was just watching the news on one of these talking heads, and they're getting tough now with the medical misinformation. This is what they're saying on here. And they're going after platforms like this one. And it's so bad right now that what they just said, with what I just heard, is that they said that they're using keywords and they're replacing keywords with other words, and that they're going to start going after them too. Folks, it was about when I read that, it was about 5 minutes later after that I realized that we're finished. There's really nothing more that I can do to help my fellow man. They don't want it. They don't want the help. And there's really not much more that I can personally do in any way at all. So I'm sorry to say, I did my best. I've been through 2 stations, and I got a strike on this one. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take it real easy, unfortunately. And that's that. Now, a week ago, like a Saturday week ago or whatever it was, or a Sunday week ago, I saw the police department over at the hospital over here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. There must have been 200 police cars there. You understand? I don't know what it was, but it was a mobilization of something, and it's for real. And whatever it was brought upon by something that's absolutely urgent. And you can only imagine what that is. So we see where that is going. Those of us who know, I already knew when I did a video on it from like last weekend. You could see it, and I said I called it a lot of police cars in one place. All lights flashing and everything else like this. So this was a major psych op, in my opinion. Just a major psych op. So there's no one left to fight for us. There's nothing left, unfortunately. So I'm sorry to tell you folks that I'm only going to leave you with one last bit of information. And I'm not really leaving you. It's just that I can't really delve too deeply into this anymore. And it's sad. But here's what I will tell you, okay? The powers that be right now on every platform, or virtually every platform that you can say something on or express your feeling about, are censoring things. That's all. They do it anyway. They did it anyway before this, but they are censoring. And I only want to tell you people, because I know some of you have come here and you just think that I'm off my rocker and all that. And that may be true. I never told you. I never accused myself of being smart. I always said everybody else is dumb. Okay? So maybe I'm dumb too. Folks, I want to ask you a question. And you know why I want to ask this question to you? Because yesterday or this morning, I saw a very stout guy. He looked like a police officer. You know what I mean? He looked like a clean-cut, stout, muscular guy, and he had his son. And he had his son with a mask, and he had a mask. And these are otherwise intelligent people. Do you understand? Or what you would perceive as intelligent people. And I'm at the point now where I'm doubting everything, because I'm not sure these people are very smart at all. Now, he had around a 10-year-old son with him. And I'm sure he was in law enforcement. And I looked at this and I said to myself, that's kind of like we're doomed, because the law enforcement are buying into this. They're buying into it, and they are going to enforce it, and it's going to get worse and worse. And when I say worse and worse, it's going to go, I think, this is just what I think it's going to go from the boys in blue to the boys in green. You understand what I'm telling you? And I think that they will enact measures like that, because it's just moving so quickly, and they're so laser focused in their attacks on people that do not want this, that it's just moving along so severely that you can tell they're in the crosshairs, and it's going to get real ugly. So when I walked into Popeyes yesterday and I showed you, don't expect anyone to understand the very delicate, fine nuances and so forth, minutia of this. And when I say minutia, I mean, folks, are there any rights at all if you can leave your house, or if you can do your job, or you can go to where you want? It's all gone. And it looks like it's going to come back, because the only way they're going to be able to sell the scam again is for them to create absolute terror and pandemonium and chaos, and give you the reason for it, which is going to be those who are unsomethinged, 1 and 2. This is very obvious. It's very clear to see that. And I'm only going to leave you with this. And I'm not really going anywhere, like I said. I'm just kind of going to have to put a lid on this. For the men that are like that, what I think was a law enforcement officer this morning with his kid all masked up, going into 7-Eleven or to a store or whatever it was, I want to ask you something. And I'm gonna finish it with this. I'm not getting into this anymore, because there's no benefit to me. And I don't ask any money from anybody. I don't ask people for money. I've gotten a couple people that have been very good to me. You know, not like with hundreds of dollars, but I had a couple people that donated $50 to me, which was really nice at the time. And I got some shirts. I've just had to go out and get a couple more. So I've gotten another nice shirt here. And that other one that looks like I'm a hula dancer, which I can't believe I bought. I didn't realize it. So this is probably going to be like my only shirt, my only good one, because I'm throwing the other ones out. They're just all going to have to go in the garbage. They're all effed. Folks, men. This goes out to men. And women too, but mostly men. If you had a daughter and she was coming up on courting age, or she was 17 or 16, and or 18 or whatever, and you had a guy that was of a pretty high position, and there was all sort of scuttlebutt on him, and you really didn't know heads or tails about the man. And he wanted your daughter's hand in marriage. And you went on Google and you found out that every time somebody said something about this man, you could see where it said deleted. And all you saw there was how nice this person was, what a great person he was, how charitable he was, how responsible he was. But yet you keep seeing deleted comments that are not being allowed for you to look at this man. And if I was the father of a daughter, I'd say, I want to know what those things are. Why are they being deleted? Why are those not available to view? And then the family comes out and they said, you don't need to see those things. Okay, they were things that we think they're not relevant at all, and we're not going to let anybody see them. We're going to show you all the nice things about this man. Wouldn't you say to yourself, why would you not let me see the things that, even if they were untrue, why would you not let me see those things? Well, because they're untrue, and they'll put my son in a bad light. That's my decision to make. That's my decision to make. I'll make that decision. You don't have to make that decision for me. I'll make that decision. If he says that something or another, I will give it all the mental testing it deserves in my own mind. Does that sound familiar to you? They're now going to go after people who they believe are using code words to talk about what's going on right now. Did you folks hear what I just said? Would you allow your daughter to go with a man that only had positive reviews and would not let them talk to any of his friends, any of the person's associates? You'd want to talk to them and find out what kind of person, and then they keep sending you people to tell you how great the man is, and they're relatives, or they're within the same organization or church or whatever that he's in. Wouldn't you be a little suspicious about that? Wouldn't that really say, look, I don't want to give my daughter the blessing or whatever to my daughter. I'm not going to tell her what to do, but I would really like to know all of the information, and yet it's being removed. Negative things are being removed. How would you feel about that, with having your daughter with somebody like that? I mean, it's a pretty intimate kind of thing, right? Wouldn't you like to hear everything? Well, where do you think you live? In America? That's something you'd expect in a free country. That's not what this is. This is so terrible. This is so awful. This is so whatever that they're just not going to let us hear anything except for, and if you think I'm making this up, I'm going to show you so that you understand that this is not make-up stuff. As soon as you get on YouTube, at least as soon as I do, you're given a massive amount of choices of cheerleaders. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And they're cheerleaders. They're cheerleaders, and it doesn't matter like what you put on. It doesn't matter what you put on. It just seems to keep taking you to these places. Now, I don't know if it's going to do it now, okay? It's not doing it now. All right? It's not doing it now. But at times when you go onto YouTube, right here, there will be 10, 12, 15 videos all covering the same thing. In other words, when you want to give your daughter or your daughter's hand in marriage to this guy, each one is very, very flattering about the guy and how he's wonderful, except they're all these reviews are coming from the same organization or family tree or relations as the man himself. How would you feel about that? I wouldn't like it, and I wouldn't trust it. That's just me. You want to hear an analogy on this? Would you like me to tell you? You folks do not know how urgently that I need to get gainful employment. Okay? Running around with a weed eater thinking you're real clever because you cut yards with a weed eater isn't the pinnacle of success. Do you understand? Offers very little protection. I'm not telling you that I'm not proud of what I do. I'm proud of that. But I mean, I'm not proud like in a way where, I'm high end. I'm not. But I'm going to tell you the way I view the thing going on right now. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay? As I told you, you don't know how desperate I am to get gainful employment. And it's not easy. You have to drive everywhere. You have to deal with errant job interview slots and things like that where they're telling you to go and come back, and you go to the beach and you go 30 miles this way and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. It's a pain in the neck and expensive and dangerous. Well, I got a job offer from these two Latino guys. Okay, and they were nice guys. I told you about this. They appeared to be very nice people on the phone. When I went in there, they treated me well, and they didn't require me to take a drug test or anything else, and nothing like this. And what they did was they told me that I was going to be working down in Miami. So I'll just leave it anonymous, somewhere in Miami, to the east. Far to the east. And they didn't contact me until around 15 hours or less from the time that I had to show up to train, which was going to be on the other side of the world here, which is like west Fort Lauderdale, not Miami, where I'm supposed to work, is what they told me. Or what the impression was given to me as. Not only that, not only was I going to have to train somewhere where I wasn't going to work, according to him, but they did not tell me what my hours were going to be, how many hours I was going to get, whether it was full-time or part-time. They didn't tell me that. So, and they also didn't issue me a uniform. And I called because I said, look, it's getting late. I was cutting yards, and I said, look, I've got to break off. I might have to go down to East Miami to pick up my uniform so I can go to work, which is all the way on the other side of the world. So, and I have to do all this and take care of my own personal affairs. So this started to become suspicious to me. Does that mean that there's something going on that's bad? It doesn't necessarily mean that. You know what it means? It means there's yellow flags. Do you understand, folks? There's yellow flags. Why? Because if you're going to train, why are you going to train in West Fort Lauderdale if you're going to be working in Miami, East Miami? Why are you doing that at all? Why don't they give you a uniform? Why don't they just send you there and get on with it? That's a good question, right? Now, I talked to one of my lawn customers who I don't think much of. I don't think much of her because she's about, as far as I'm concerned, she's not smart. And she can't understand. And when she doesn't understand something, she uses her Class B personality of bossiness to pull things through. You understand? So she kind of said, well, it's up to them to decide where they want to train you. That's absolutely true. But wouldn't you want to be told if you were being considered for part-time or full-time, or they have a preference for this or whatever? So you know what I did? I didn't go. And I was scheduled to go for 7 a.m. that following morning to work until 3 in the afternoon the following morning last week. You know, at $13 an hour. But why didn't I go? I didn't go for the same reason that you poker players, if you saw or if you picked up an ace, you would keep it on general principle. Just something that you would understand. The protocol is to do or to not do. And I found it suspicious, and I found it non-beneficial why I have to go to West Broward in order to train for a job. We're not talking about, rocket scientists to shoot off a rocket or something. We're just talking about security work, okay? So how complex could it be? Are they going to send me to a special facility? You know what I thought it was? I think what they had a person over there who was a senior person in that company, and they said, send him over here and I will take a look at him and tell you what I think of him. That's the kind of general feeling. I know a lot of you are probably saying, yeah, that's probably true. They probably wanted a little bit better look at you. That's probably what they said. That's probably what it was. But you see, that's what I suspected. That it was going to be somebody that was going to be scrutinizing me, and I didn't have a uniform. So, starting off in that kind of a position, do you know what my next question was? What's next? What's next? They have a place in Lake Worth that they want me to drive 40 miles to go up to. What's next? And that's why I didn't go, because I didn't know what was next. Could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. They could have thrown me a party over there and showered me with gifts saying, boy, we really needed somebody like you. Thank God we got you, and boy, here's your training and all. It could have been. But based on my experience with my 58 years, it didn't sound right. You understand? And that's what's happening here, folks, with what's going on now. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying it doesn't make any sense to you. Maybe it makes perfect sense to you. But to have a censoring of virtually everything except for anything that's a cheerleader on this makes me very, very concerned. Do you understand, folks? And do you want to know where I got this from? You want to see where this was born in my brain? Well, I will show you right now. This is where it was born.
Mark, you've got something? A fact, Captain. Physical laws simply cannot be ignored. Existence cannot be without them.
What do you mean, Spock?
I mean, Doctor, that we are faced with a staggering contradiction. The tranquilizer you created should have been effective.
It would have been effective anywhere else.
Exactly. Doctor, in your opinion, what killed Mr. Chekhov?
A piece of lead in his body.
Wrong. His mind killed him.
Well, come on, Spock. If you've got the answer, tell us.
Physical reality is consistent with universal laws. Where the laws do not operate, there is no reality. All of this is unreal.
What do you mean unreal? I examined Chekhov. He's dead.
But you made your examination under conditions which we cannot trust. We judge reality by the response of our senses. Once we are convinced of the reality of a given situation, we abide by its rules. We judge the bullets to be solid, the guns to be real. Therefore, they can kill.
Chekhov is dead because he believed the bullets would kill him.
He may indeed be dead. We do not know.
But we do know that the Melkotians created the situation. If we do not allow ourselves to believe that the bullets are real, they cannot kill us.
Exactly. I know the bullets are unreal. Therefore, they cannot harm me.
We must all be as certain as you are, Mr. Spock, if we're to save our lives.
Precisely.
That's not possible. There'd always be some doubt.
The smallest doubt would be enough to kill you.
Folks, the truth, the blitz and the over obviousness of this massive censorship blitz makes me trust absolutely nothing that we're hearing. Did you hear what I just said? And I won't get into it because I don't want to be accused of anything. I simply can't believe a single thing under the conditions now. Period. End of story. Right down to the nitty gritty. And that's the way I feel about it. And I'm not going to say anything more about this because it's only going to get worse and worse. I realized that about an hour ago. Folks, you don't know me, but I am anything but a chaos wanter or a person who just wants to be an agent provocateur or anything else. I'm just a decent, quiet, mild-mannered man, generally speaking. But it looks like we've been beaten now. And they're not going to release this iron-clenched fist over the entire population, including the world, not just the United States, it looks like. And somewhere in the future, because it's too late for us, somehow, they're going to have to in the future, and I think these protocols were in place before, but I'm not sure. Something has to be inserted into a future constitution that says we are not going to go into life-changing conditions and instructions for our population to follow based on public sentiment. Because right now, you cannot trust the public. The public is believing what they're being fed. Do you understand? This is why we're not a true democracy, because true democracies typically do not work. Because it's too complicated for me to explain it to you. But there are too many times when democracies can be wrong. You can be wrong and have a great amount of people believing in something and it's not right. And you need somebody there in a republic that says, no, it's not going to be an instantaneous democratic vote. There are other things that we have to do, like go through our Congress and Senate. But you have Bolshevism now. And it's too late. They've taken over. The Bolsheviks have taken over. I watched the newscast about 20 minutes ago, and we went from dead children to the fault is the people who are unsomething to the shame we should feel for everything being too hot right now and everything that we can do to help cool the planet. Like, for example, don't eat pigs that have high levels of flatulation. Eat insect-based protein. Why not? You don't need to eat something that's grown from the ground. Why do you need hamburgers that are vegetable-based? It requires a lot of machinery and harvesting of things like this to have plant-based protein. You don't need plant-based protein. Insects are a wonderful, wonderful protein source that you should be more than happy to accept. And you'll be doing your part against galactic warming. Because as most of you know, like 6'9" Dunce, who's now referred to as MJ, because he went along with this for a long time, and he may still. I will have to work on him with that too. But now he's put an end to the Snowy Owl and NPR radio. So that might bring up his IQ about 10 or 11 points. You understand? That's just my opinion, by the way. You might have a different opinion. But folks, you think I'm crazy? You wait to see how quick they skip over. Once they can take you down into plant-based proteins, that still requires a great deal of cultivating machines that create pollution. Please, folks, have a heart and learn how to eat grub worms and mealyworms and things like that. They're very, very high in protein. And on top of that, they can be made to look and taste like virtually anything. You're mindless idiots. You understand? You're mindless idiots. You do not believe anything I say, and you think you're smarter than I. There you have it. So, go about your business. And when things come to fruition, like many times they are, you can't see it because they've removed 2 of my channels, then you'll find out, hey, you know what? That guy might not have been such a stupid idiot after all.